music news, coffee shop conversation at Artichoke Music. Yes, this is the Cafe Artichoke, and I'm Tom D'Antoni. And you know, we love to do. We just started doing the video versions of this, and I just thought it would be a great idea to talk to couples who are musicians and who sometimes play with each other, sometimes don't play with each other. And so here's another couple. Look, it's a couple of blues musicians.
Hey, get out of town.
Wow. Good to be here.
You know,
Thank you.
I've always meant to apologize to you
Why?
because this is your 10th anniversary, right?
Yes, this
yeah.
July 4th
July
was our
4th.
10th wedding
Yep.
anniversary.
And I was the MC on stage when you got married at the Blues Festival, and nobody told me what was going on.
Nobody told it. A lot of people didn't know what the hell was
Is that
going
right?
on.
So
Yeah.
I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
And and then all of a sudden I do my thing and I get off stage and all of a sudden you're getting married.
I'm surprised nobody told you.
No.
Well, that was Jim Miller's idea.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was his idea because
Another
he said,
bass player.
Another bass player. And this is a bass player who once said he was going to marry me one day.
Oh.
But
We
found
thought he was
out-
crazy at first. We're like
Yeah,
getting married on the stage in the Blues
Exactly.
Festival.
But he called me up and he said other people had gotten married on stage, and he said, "Yeah, why don't you consider that?" Because he knew we were engaged. And like I said, we thought he was crazy.
Yeah, and I used to do, when I lived in New York, I used to do tons of weddings. That's like, and it was kind of when we were getting married, I was like, that's the last thing I wanted
Yes.
to do was to be in one of these, halls with just.
Did you have to play the chicken dance?
Oh yeah, all that.
No chicken dance.
No, I did. Yeah.
So we thought this.
I do
song-
miss it.
You missed the tuxedo.
When I was when the career wasn't going so well, I was a wedding DJ.
Oh wow.
And
fun.
there was one set I always had to play that had the twist, the hokey pokey, the chicken dance,
There you go.
YMCA.
That's it.
And then at the time, I had to teach people how to do the Macarena.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so
Hey,
all the group dance
Macarena.
things. Yeah, no, we didn't want anything like that.
Well,
and
go-
we didn't want to spend a lot of money either because we're, like you said, we're musicians. So we thought, it took us about 2 or 3 weeks or something, we were discussing it, and we realized it solved a lot of problems because, between the two of us as musicians, we know a lot of people. We have a lot of friends and fans. So we thought,
People get mad at you if you forget to.
if you
to
forget to invite
and-
them. So we thought we don't have to invite anybody. We just advertise 2 cans of food and $10 and you can come to our wedding. It was awesome. So, thank you, Jim Miller, and thank you, Peter Damon, for making that happen.
Yeah.
And Sunny she said, well, let's just make it part of the Northwest Women in Blues set. And Janice Scroggins, bless her soul, she played piano during the ceremony.
Oh,
She's
really?
gone.
What did she play?
She played. You requested a
There was Stevie Wonder.
song.
I think it was. I'm trying to. It's off.
Was it you and
Well, You and I. Yeah,
you and I think that's what it was. And
Yeah,
Kyogen
talking
Carlson was there. He was
Yeah,
the Zen
Yeah, both of them are
priest.
now no longer.
Kyogen Carlson, who married us, he's since passed away
Yeah.
too. So it's kind of bittersweet memories.
It's on. You can look it up on YouTube. So
Yeah, our
it's kinda
wedding's
fun.
on YouTube. Tom Serber, thank you, Tom Serber, for
Did you have a
for
first dance?
filming it. No, we just got that was it. We were done,
Because
and
it
then
was-
Ray
because
Gordon
it
came
was-
up and sang a tune.
I think what was supposed to be like. We had 7 minutes or 10 minutes or something.
We had 7 minutes, man. And
we
we
had to have it
told
done.
Peter was like, okay, you can get married, but you better keep it short.
You
So
know.
we had it all down to 7 minutes, including me singing At Last.
No, that was separate.
Was that separate
separate.
from the
You sang it,
ceremony?
yeah.
Okay, so then total it was probably like 9 or 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I came out and sang At Last, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
and then the wedding.
Oh, yeah.
Sonny was there, and Jamie Hess, she was my maid of honor, and your best friend Bill was
Yeah.
there, and family and friends, and it was great. It was really great.
Yeah, it was like my folks had no idea, no concept of what this was going to be like. You know, my father was like, I think he's getting married with, there's going to be a lot of couples or something. And I'm
It's like
no,
the Moonies.
it's not the, yeah. So they came, he came from New York and like, Oregon.
That's funny.
Culture shock.
Yeah.
Jeez. And then you just had to work.
Had to work?
Yeah, up on stage.
Yeah.
Get married, then we had to work.
No, I was done.
Oh,
that
you-
was the end of the stage. That was the end of the set. And then Ray Gordon came up and
Yeah.
sang
Okay.
a tune. I was out.
All right.
You know,
Yeah,
I
you
was
didn't.
out.
I think you just did that one song, right?
I just did the one song. I just sang out
They
loud,
let
that
her
was
off.
it.
They let her off, you know, to be able to do that.
Did she
So.
ever pay me for that? Sonny! Hey!
One of the times I got married, we did it on our lunch break.
One of the times.
Yeah.
Zsa Zsa Gabor over here.
Yeah, really. Only 4. Anyway, and we got married on our lunch break, right? And she came from where she was working, I came from where I was. And we got married, and we went out to the car, and it was a flat tire.
Yeah.
Kind of set the tune.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You'd think that would be good luck, though. It's like
Flat
it
tire?
rains on your wedding.
No.
and some bad
What?
luck happens on your wedding
What?
day. It's supposed to be good luck.
When is a flat tire ever good luck?
I don't know. It's a society shuffle, man.
Well, a bird pooping on you is supposed to be good luck, and that's
No,
not.
I don't believe that.
I don't believe that either. So
No way.
It's funny. You know,
it happened to me once.
So far, so good. So far, so good.
Yeah,
Hopefully, it didn't poop in your mouth like
No, it's actually-
Cyndi Lauper, right?
it was on my arm. It wasn't
Okay,
on my
had a
head.
dig.
At least it
Okay.
wasn't. Yeah,
I don't care where it goes.
yeah.
You know.
I do have
Hey,
this
it's the
this great
hazards.
surface for a bird to, you know.
It's to aim
boom,
at.
you know.
You just paint a target right on
Yeah.
the top right there.
So how long had you guys known each other? Where did you meet?
We met at Duff's Garage.
The old.
You
yeah,
know, I
the
should have
old-
worn that shirt today, man.
Yeah.
Duff's
I
Garage.
missed that place.
I missed that
Yeah,
place too. It was the
I
Jam on
moved.
Wednesday night.
Huh? Oh, is that
Suburban
right?
Slim, Marco
Yeah.
Savo,
Jeff Strawbridge.
Strawbridge on the drums.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, that was a scene, man.
It was on Clay and.
Yeah, like 7th and Clay.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
was a
yeah.
scene.
Yeah, yeah.
That was a good place.
Yeah.
That was a real scene. Yeah.
Yeah, I had moved here January 2007, and then it was, you know, probably, I think it was on, like about, was it October? No, actually before,
Yeah,
you know,
we met in.
like
I think we started going out in mid-October, so
October,
we
yeah.
met a little bit
before that. So,
Yeah.
and it was weird because Duff's was one of those places where I kind of, when I first came here, I'm like, oh, I'm a musician, I'm trying to find work, so I'm trying to hit all the different jams and stuff. So, and I, you know, finally went to that jam, and it just kind of everything kind of fell into place. I met almost my whole networking.
Kevin Self.
Yeah, Kevin, AC, everybody. You know,
You met Lisa Mann?
Lisa,
That's right. It was actually.
Vias, Dave. You know,
Yeah,
Dave
Dave
Mellion.
Mellion.
Yeah,
You met Dave
yeah.
Mellion before
I met you.
you met me. And Dave Mellion,
Yes.
as a lot of people don't know, we were married in the 90s.
Really?
In the early 90s. We were kids, you know.
Wow.
And we were just best friends, you know. And that's why we got married. And that's kind of why we got divorced, too. But we've remained just great friends.
Oh, I love that.
Who doesn't love Dave Mellion?
Yeah,
He's just a lovable guy. And so we were out in the audience, and you were up on stage jamming. I don't know who else was up on stage, because I was just
Yeah.
looking at you. And I was like, you know, standing next to Dave, and I go, Dave, that guy's a really good bass player. He goes, yeah. I said, he's really cute, too. And he said, oh, that's Allen. He's from New York, and he's a really nice guy, and I should introduce you. So that's how we got introduced.
And I was oblivious for a while.
You were completely
Yeah,
oblivious.
you know.
And I had to ask Dave Sanguinetti and Ray Gordon
Yeah,
to
they're like,
hand you notes under the
yeah,
desk.
they're like,
Lisa,
Lisa likes you, call her. I don't
Call her. It was really
I'm
corny.
like, what am I in high school? I was like, yeah.
It was really corny.
This was before Facebook and TikTok and all that stuff. Right?
Yeah. And we had our
Well, I
first
think it just kind of started, but I was kind of like, what? I have to switch from MySpace? What the heck? You know?
That's true.
Wow.
what is it, dreadlocks and hacky sack.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
That's what you said on your MySpace. I'm moving to Oregon, the home of dreadlocks and hacky sack. Which is funny because we drove, Google sent us to the old location of Artichoke Music.
Oh,
But while we were going over there on Hawthorne, we start coming up Hawthorne and things are different. We live in the suburbs on the west side, okay? So things are different over here. We came up here and we saw a van, an old van that looked like Charlie Brown. It had, and then it had peanut stickers on it. Yeah. And then we came up the street a little bit, and a Tibetan nun was walking down the street. And then we got directions to go the right way, and on the way we saw a guy in like medieval garb on a scooter, and it's just like, yeah, we're in Portland.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of traveling, and it's kind of when I got back, I'm like, yeah, I'm in Portland. There's just a certain feeling, you know. Playing at a bar. And there was someone, you know, outside listening with a hula hoop, and I'm just like, okay, you know, it's like, I know, I could be anywhere, and I just know, and I'm just like, okay, I know I'm in Portland. You know,
But you're not from Portland originally, are you?
From West Virginia.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I knew that.
That's why I still talk funny and I still sing funny. I mean, I haven't been there since I was a teenager even.
Yeah.
But, you know,
don't
I
lose those
just
things.
can't shake it, especially when I sing blues or, you know, God forbid, country music. And if I sing rock, heavy metal, stuff like that, then I turn British all of a sudden. So I pick up accents. You know, I hang around him a little while.
Yeah.
And the next thing I know, I'm talking like this.
Yeah.
I just pick up a little bit.
Yeah, it's funny how that works. A friend of mine moved to Maine one time, and I talked to her like about 2 months later, and all of a sudden, who's this?
Who is this person? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because I lost my Baltimore accent for about 85% of my Baltimore accent.
Yeah.
On purpose.
I'm not even sure what a Baltimore accent.
It's like this, Hein.
Oh, I like
How
it.
you doing?
How you doing? It's friendly. It's a nice accent.
Biden.
You got.
Oh, it's Joe Biden.
You just can't. You just can't open your mouth very much.
Oh, okay. You just
It was
keep
funny.
your
I had.
teeth together a little bit.
Remember Murray Sidlin? He was the associate conductor of the Oregon Symphony. He and I went to the same high school.
Okay.
And I did a TV story on him, and I decided I would shoot a conversation between the two of us, talking very thick Baltimoreese, right?
Oh, that's great.
And nobody could understand what we were saying. And so I put subtitles up.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, you know, I was raised in Charleston, West Virginia.
Wow.
I was raised in a Jewish family.
Really?
But it's a complicated story because my mom rediscovered this buried Judaism that was in the family because there are actually a lot of Jewish people that came over around revolutionary times even, and they were basically told, you might want to assimilate. Yeah, but she rediscovered, it was a Finnish grandmother that was Jewish, and she married a man in West Virginia. And so she raised us Jewish. So we had a bumper sticker that says "Shalom, y'all." Yeah. So and then he's got a Jewish background.
No, not really.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Just a little bit. Yeah, we did a DNA test, and it wasn't a pie chart. It was just a circle.
Pretty much.
Jew.
Yeah. Super Jew.
Super
Well,
Jew.
I grew up in a Jewish neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when I went to elementary school, on Jewish holidays, it was me and two other kids.
Yeah.
You know, and so when I my whole speech was totally inflected with Yiddish.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then when I moved here, I had to stop. I had to drop it because nobody knew what the fuck I was talking
nobody
about.
knew.
Yeah. And then I got a Jewish girlfriend for a brief period of time.
There you go.
And so I was
Felt
able
at
to.
home.
I was able to.
Ikeveld.
Really. But so you know, I mean, that's home for me.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the movie Avalon. You ever see that Barry Levinson movie? You know, about him.
It's been too long.
It's a great movie.
It's been too long.
It's a great
I know
movie.
I saw it, but I don't remember.
But it was really based on the neighborhood where I grew up.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So.
But yeah, I didn't have much of an accent compared to, you know, because I was a city girl, Jewish girl,
yeah.
and I would go to synagogue
But you said
with
there
a
was-
lot of people from the Northeast.
But you said no, but like in your school, no one was you know, you
No,
got picked on.
I was like one of 2 Jewish kids in that school, and I got tormented for being Jewish. It was terrible, but it was weird because you know I had somewhat of an accent, and my family had an accent. But we would go out in the boonies sometimes, and these hollers, and I couldn't understand what these kids are saying. I went fishing, got pushy in the bushes, and went with my sister, and they told
Got
me
some
to
breakfast seal.
breakfast cereal and breakfast cereal, cereal. Oh, okay. Yeah. So
Funny.
subtitles.
Yeah.
Sometimes people need subtitles.
So, are you guys observant at all?
No.
I still get invited to seders.
I mean, well, I might do that just for, but I'm kind of not really. I kind of feel I'm spiritual, but I'm not really religious. Like I was bar mitzvah.
Culturally.
I went to Hebrew school, and
I know a lot of
and
people like that.
I think there's a lot of beautiful stuff in it, but I think a lot of it too, just like in most of the strict most of Christianity, like people kind of abuse the power of it, and I just felt there was a lot of people doing. It's a beautiful. If you take it apart, it's beautiful, but people use it to condemn other people and to just kind of ostrich.
Well, you're a Buddhist, aren't you?
I became a
Yeah,
Buddhist.
yeah.
And there's a term for that, jubu. You heard that? Yeah,
That's great.
jubu. So yeah, I actually literally converted
Did you?
to Buddhism and took
Wow.
vows at the Dharma Rain Zen Center.
Wow.
I was really involved for a while, and I was,
until me.
until I met you. And I was presenting, so I would lead the Kanji Zaibo Sagyoji Hanya Haramita.
No,
Oh
She
yeah.
had short hair when I met her too.
Yeah, I was very different.
It wasn't.
I was ready to shave it off.
Oh no.
I was gonna be bald like you.
Would have been beautiful.
No.
Yeah.
But then I went, wait a minute. My life is taking another turn.
And she was on crutches too, so she couldn't run away. So.
Oh, jeez.
Broke my foot.
So, all right. So, 2 bass players.
Yeah.
What a concept. How does that work? I mean,
Well, we don't play in the same band, obviously.
yeah. Right.
know.
Would you like to?
It's probably not a good idea. We get on each other's nerves, you know?
I mean, sometimes it'll be not. I've been traveling. The last 2.5, 3 years, I've been traveling a lot, and we miss each other, but it's kind of one of these things that we're both pretty independent. So like she has her own stuff, and I have this way. In a way, it's kind of a nice thing that we have something separate.
It's less to argue about.
Yeah,
But-
I've been in a few bands where there's been a couple in the band, and it's just like, if they're getting along, it's great.
Oh.
But as soon as something goes wrong, it's horrible. And then, if for some reason one of them gets mad at you, then they're both mad at you. So it's kind of it's a weird thing. I mean, we get along great, and I think it could work, but I think we both there's things that we like that are very similar, but then we both have there's some things that are very different. So
Well, I just did a gig with Sugar Ray Rayford in Basel, Switzerland, as a backup singer. And so I got to spend time with him in Basel, and then I followed them to Metz, France, where they had a gig that I wasn't able to go to that gig. But it was really a lot of fun as a backup singer, especially with Sugar Ray Rayford does not work with a set list. So I just had to learn the backups to all these tunes and just, okay, what's he gonna call next, And it was really kept me on my toes. It was fun being on stage with you and with the horn players, and it was a blast.
And you didn't have to lead.
I didn't have to lead.
Yeah.
I led a couple of tunes because he asked me to.
Yeah.
And then, but I didn't have my bass. It's like, so I'm just gonna dance.
What did you do with your
Dance
arms?
music. I danced, man. I just
at
danced.
first she's like, well, what do I do?
What do I do now? I just dance now. I couldn't stop dancing.
I was surprised.
couldn't
Yeah,
stop
yeah, it
dancing
was-
because the music is so good. This band, Sugar Ray Rayford Band, just won Blues Blast Magazine
Yeah.
Band of the Year.
That's great.
And so not only do you have to get the nomination first, and that's like a panel of people, but then people have to vote for you. So this is like not
So
only
it's out of
community
Chicago,
of the
so
peers,
it's,
it's out of Chicago, but
Yeah,
people voted because that band kicks.
I've always
I'm
had.
proud of you.
I've had a couple of times when I've had a chance to talk to him.
Yeah.
It's always fun. And you know what we always talk about?
What?
Our hats.
Talk about your hats?
Yeah.
You don't smoke cigars though, do you?
I did at the time.
Oh, you did. So you
Okay.
talk
Yeah,
cigars
yeah, yeah.
too.
Cigars and hats, yeah.
Cigars and
we
hats.
both like the Myers hat, the hat
Yeah.
in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Great
Yeah,
hat
that's
store.
that's his
Mm-hmm.
favorite city. So.
Yeah. We that's our favorite hat store.
Yeah. That's great.
Well, that must have been what a nice break for you to be able to.
Yeah, it doesn't happen, so that was really great. So it was our 10-year wedding anniversary. So we said, well, what can we do that's a little different? And it just happened that it was like 2 gigs in Basel, and then the week after we were supposed to have a few other gigs, and then the ending in France the following weekend, but the gigs in the middle got kind of canceled. They didn't come through, so we weren't going to do it. But the promoter for the French festival said, "Well, no, we'll put you up for a week." So it was like,
Great.
all right, I have a week off.
Yeah.
So we ended up going to Basel 2 days early, and then we ended up, she stayed for most of the week, and then she had to get home the following weekend for her gigs.
The
So
promoters were all just wonderful.
Oh, nice.
And we had a great time and got to
Yeah.
walk a lot and see an old cool cathedral. And
yeah, I'm always making jokes about another 1,000-year-old cathedral or something.
whatever.
Taking pictures of graffiti that's from like 1500 and stuff.
Yep.
Well, you guys promised to do a tune or two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could you do one now?
I think we could do that.
There you go. Here's
figured there's
a
some-
vocal mic
Well,
for you.
hello there. I mean, we could have played 2 basses, but that might have been kind of weird.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
the
I
thing
don't-
is, we did this 3 bass thing.
Yeah.
I told you about the.
Yeah.
We opened the Blues Festival, the Waterfront Blues Festival. That was with Jim Miller and Gary Fontaine, and it was cool.
So what are you gonna sing?
Well, we're going to start out with an original song. It's about very reasonable requests. All right, ready? From the 5 and the key
Yep.
A. 1, 2, 3, 4. You say that you love me. You don't know what love is at all. Hey, you tell me that you love me. You don't know what love is at all. No, no. 'Cause if you really love me, baby, you'd always catch me when I fall. I called the other night. Must have been about 2:30. I was 3 sheets to the wind and I didn't know what else to do. I had drank up all of my money. I didn't have a nickel for a cab fare. But you told me to start walking out in the cold November air. You say that you love me. Baby, you don't know what love is at all. Yeah, if you really love me, you'd always catch me when I fall. I asked you for some assistance when the police got involved. Had nowhere else to turn and just one chance to make a call. You know she had it coming, and I didn't even start that fight. But you left me there in the pokey, 3 days and 2 long, hard, cold nights. You tell me that you love me, but I declare you don't know what love is at all, no, no. Hey, yeah, yeah, if you really love me, you'd always catch me when I fall. All right, there's one more bit to this sordid tale. Let me tell you, it was the last day of the month, and I didn't have a cent. Honey, I only asked you to float me for the bills and the rent. You know I'm good for it, baby. You know I pay you when I could, but instead you sent me packing back to Mama's house for good. Oh, you say that you love me, but darling, I declare you don't know what love is at all. Hey, yeah, yeah, you tell me that you love me. Oh, you would catch me when I fall. Oh, you would catch me when I fall. Something like that.
Hell yeah.
I forget the words to my own songs.
So you wrote that?
I did write that.
That's awesome.
It's just about reasonable
Yes.
requests for assistance, you know, and just not getting the help that you so desperately require. It's my codependence theme song. So I often dedicate it to the codependents in the audience, and I'll say, you know who he is. Wants to do another one?
Yeah, it's true. I used to. All these things really happen to her. Really, yeah.
Well, you know, no, I'm not so bad anymore. No. I've gotten better.
It's all about me. She just reversed it.
So do you guys talk shop?
Do we talk shop?
Yeah.
Well, you know, we talk about our gigs, and I always ask him, you know, how was your gig and how was the show, even whether we're together or we're, you know, on Facebook Messenger, you know. So, you know, I don't know. It's kind of like, how was your day at work?
We kind of,
how was your day, honey?
We kind of always have breakfast together and hang out. And we talk about the day and what we're doing.
We talk about, what's coming up, what we're doing, what our plans are. We talk, you know, and sometimes
Talk gear?
Yeah.
Instruments?
You know, he's the gearhead.
Oh.
I'm not a gearhead at all. I've been playing the same bass since 1994. So,
Wow.
yeah. So he's the
No
one
matter
that's
what he
always
says.
getting new stuff.
But she, I'll get something new and she'll be like, well, I'll take that.
Yeah, he'll be like, oh, I don't like this anymore.
Yeah.
I'll say, you like, yes and no. Yes and no. So I say community property. Right? So basically the gear I'm playing, the head I'm using, I think all the cables and the speaker cabinet. Oh yeah, and the mic stand too. He was kind enough to purchase these items, and I was kind enough to make use of them.
The PA?
See, you're a nice man. See what a nice man he is.
She's like, why are you getting that? Oh, that's kind of cool.
Well, I make him breakfast.
Oh, well.
Yeah, you know. And we talk shop, like he's got this thumb mute thing that he does. And I stole that from him. So I do that all the time
does it
now.
better than me
And
now,
I have
so.
this little callus here right now because of that thumb technique there. So,
And
we gossip about drummers and
Oh, that's not hard.
who was speeding up and who was slowing down and who was, which guitar player was way too loud.
Yeah, all of them.
Most of them. It's usually me. I'm the one that's too loud.
And then we're kind of big science fiction kind of buffs, so we watch Star Trek and all that.
We're
shit.
both. See, that was a requirement for marriage. Had to like Star Trek.
We actually went to
We went to
Star Trek convention.
That was the test.
That was
Las
it.
Vegas, and
If you would enjoy going to a Star Trek convention in Vegas, then we're good.
I mean, I liked Star Trek, but she's the type of person that had the books with the schematics of the ships and stuff, and
It's true. Busted,
Yeah.
busted.
Now, do you guys agree on metal?
Not, well, yes and no. Okay, let me put it this way.
That's the Lisa Man secret that nobody knows.
He's going with me to see a band called Ghost
tonight
tonight.
actually at the motor.
But the thing about Ghost, they're this Swedish pop metal band, and they're really weird. But they have a lot of like 70s influence, and they have like organ players and organ parts and stuff, and kind of pop melodies, and so their music is just really, it's more like theatrical rock, like Alice Cooper, shock rock kind of stuff. So it's got some heavy metal elements. So that's one of the bands that we can agree on. We saw Iron Maiden together a few years ago.
Yeah, I mean, there's some classic stuff, but I don't, I'm kind of more.
He wouldn't sit down. And
I like. I'm more like I like jazz and I like Brazilian and Latin music.
He played Latin jazz for
Did you?
quite a while.
So when I was in but so like if I put on some like Brazilian stuff, she's like, she's
Yawn.
like,
I don't know. Some
And I'm
of
like-
that stuff is great though.
no, I agree with it, but
Do you share bass heroes?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Marcus Miller, of course. Chaco,
John Entwistle,
Entwistle, yeah.
Chris Squire,
Yeah.
Geddy Lee,
Geddy Lee, Lee Sklar.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I shouldn't make the gesture though. I don't know who's going to be watching. The Lee Sklar gesture.
What is that?
He always flips the bird.
He does?
Oh, that's his thing. If you
Oh,
take
if
a
it's a
picture
picture with
with
him.
Lee Sklar, you got to flip the bird. Everybody. That's his thing. So that's how you say hello to Lee Sklar.
Is that right?
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he's the one. You know who Lee Sklar is, the one, the bass player is the big beard. And he played with James Taylor and all the other
Play
people.
with
So,
everybody.
yeah.
And then there's, in the blues scene, there's, what's that cat from the Fabulous Thunderbirds?
Oh,
Is
yeah,
that
Keith Ferguson.
Keith Ferguson,
and,
guys like that. And Johnny B. Gayden, and there's just a lot of great blues bass players that we admire,
he was
even
a-
locally,
Yeah.
like Marco Savo, man.
It's
we
funny,
would
yeah.
gather around and
he was-
admire him
he
when we
was-
first met.
Actually, his first instrument is guitar. He's a local. I don't know if you've ever
Local
heard of
dude.
him, Marco Savo.
Yeah.
But he used to play at the jam at Duff's with Suburban Slim, Phil Wagner. Will put a.
Yeah.
And he was a
you know.
blues bass player. When he played
Yeah.
blues, he was serious about the style. He was serious about, the accuracy. He was, So
Yeah.
we would hang out and just watch him play.
He was kind of the blues Nazi.
Yeah.
But it was good. I mean, because when I moved to town, like I had played more, like the blues stuff that I played was more jazz. So when I was trying to play strict blues, the idea of doing a whole night of blues and not to be boring and not to, there's a lot of different types of shuffles and different stuff. So he was someone that we both kind of listened to and learned a lot from, and that was one of the things that really knocked me out about when I moved to Portland, that there was the scene here, there was a lot of mentoring, there was a lot of people, people weren't kind of stuck up, and they were inviting, for me as a new bass player in town, they weren't like, oh, this guy's going to try to steal my gigs.
Yeah.
and
No, it
stuff
was like Jimmy
that,
Bott
yeah.
would be like, come and sit in, come play
Nice.
with me.
You know?
Nice.
So,
I like to think, when I think of classic blues bass players, I always go back to Willie Dixon.
of
Well,
course,
yeah. Of course, the originator.
Yeah.
But think of him more as an upright player.
Right.
But you know, a lot of great electric players too.
Well, the thing with Keith Ferguson, with like the Fabulous Thunderbirds, they did a lot of traditional tunes, but it was, you know, it was kind of done later, and it was recorded a little better. So as
You could
you know,
pick it out.
so as a bass player, people say, you know, if you want to kind of hear the style, it's easy to listen, because a lot of the old recordings, you could never hear what the bass was doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Or either that, or it wasn't even a bass player. They had someone playing guitar.
Kind of
playing
always
an
could hear
octave,
Willie
you
Dixon
know,
for some
so.
reason, though.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
Oh yeah, the original.
Oh, definitely.
Man.
You
The
know,
original.
He produced all that. He
Yeah.
produced all those things
Yeah.
himself, so
Yeah.
you would figure he would
Yeah.
make sure you could hear him.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and it, you know, I mean, you know, I was influenced by there was a lot of other upright bass players that I listened to, you know, so, but yeah, but I was kind, you know, when I first came to town, I was kind of more of like a jazz snob, and like, you know, but little by little I started, because when I lived in New York, I mean, there was a blues scene in New York, but I wasn't really in it, and the people that I would meet were kind of more, it was more like rock blues, so, you know, like someone I'm trying to name, like you know, the late Rick Welter, who was in town,
Yeah,
and
yeah, that's
and I see, you know, Frank Goldwasser, who now he's back in California, but these people, I was like, wow, these people are really committed and really studied, and they really, and you know, and it was kind of because I had a jazz background. I don't really consider myself like a real straight ahead bebop player, but I love it.
Yeah.
But there's like, as far as like the West Coast blues, there's
jump swing
definitely
aspect.
a marriage between it, so I kind of fit in real well. And
He joined the Insomniacs for a while too after Dean Mueller split.
left, yeah.
So you fell right into that jump swing. West
Well, because
Coast
because that was
thing.
sort of a lot of that was my
Yeah.
background. I can do that. I can kind of do that sort of in my sleep,
Yeah.
you know.
And for me,
But
I had like the British hard rock background early. The first tune I ever played was a Deep Purple song.
Really?
So for me, it was like Deep Purple and Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin and Cream, and those were the bands that I first started playing along with, and that was very blues based.
Well, Jack Bruce was
So
definitely
between
Yeah,
the two of
yeah.
us, we kind of came sideways into the blues.
Jack Bruce was definitely a jazz player.
Oh yeah.
There was no question about
Oh
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Very creative, but you know, but just having I came from this rock background, he came from this jazz background,
Yeah.
but these are both like children of the blues.
Sure.
Oh, yeah, I
So
mean,
it was
sure,
like
sure.
coming home to
Yeah.
play the blues again.
it was like, you know, I
was
also,
coming
you know,
home to learn
you
how
know,
to
I
play.
kind of grew up with, you know, classic rock, so, but it wasn't, I kind of, you know, like, again, I always liked the Stones and Led Zeppelin, and you know, the Who was probably one of my biggest, you know, bands, and but it was kind of, you know, so you hear stuff and then you're like, oh, okay, I've been hearing that for years. You know, when you start playing blues, you're like, oh, they're doing this anyway. You know, they're doing this, and I understand.
Yeah.
You know,
I moved here in '97, and I couldn't believe how many great bass players there were in Portland.
Yeah.
You know, I first was, you know, my first,
Mazzacco.
well, yeah, Mazzacco, but then Glenn Moore, David Friesen,
yeah.
Oh,
Leroy
yeah.
Vinegar,
Yes.
all those cats
Dave
back
Capteen.
then. Capteen, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's amazing. You know, there was I forgot. There's a million, but
Yeah.
there still are a million
Yeah.
of them. It's amazing. I don't know why.
I don't know either, but there's a lot
I've
of.
asked most of them
There's
the same
a lot
question,
of
and they don't know.
mentorship, and I think the thing is there is this mentorship and this non-jealous kind of way of interacting with each other, where it's not like, you know, I don't want you to get better, and I don't want you to improve, and I don't want to talk to you because you're going to get something from me.
Yeah.
It's not like that.
And I think, you know, for me, when I moved here, I was kind of like, you know, coming from the East Coast, it's like, wow, it's really nice here, you know.
Yeah.
The East Coast, you know, has its own thing that's great, but it was, you know, the idea of, you know, seeing Mount Hood and all this like beauty and the gorge.
I know. I'm from
and,
Baltimore. I know
you
exactly
know,
what you're saying.
and you know, so it kind of
Jersey City.
yeah,
you lived
Bayonne,
there when
all
you
these
first
all these
moved.
beautiful Weehawken. But it's kind of one of these
You ever
things
meet
that
Tony Soprano?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been to the club.
Bada Bing's.
Bada Bing's is for
Before
real.
that used to be a rock club.
Really?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the name of it now,
Now
but
it's a
I used to
strip
play. Yeah, I mean it's been a strip club, but it was just kind of funny. So it was funny because I didn't really watch The Sopranos when it was on. Later, when I moved here, we watched it together, and it was kind of I'm like, oh, I know exactly where that is.
It was funny
because like
would they be driving from one scene to another scene? That like, how did they get 10 miles? They just drove 2 blocks. to see
Yeah,
Newark.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
like
yeah.
me and The Wire.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know.
I do know.
Yeah.
How'd they get across town?
But yeah, as she was saying with bass players, we're kind of more. I think we're just our egos are, for the most part, we're kind of more in check, and kind of we're just like, okay, I'm gonna play music.
It's about the song.
There's good food here. There's music, and
Friendship.
enjoy, and most of the people that are really doing it full time, do a lot of traveling, so
Ben Jones,
yeah.
Damien Erskine, Timur Blakely. We're very proud of
Yeah,
him.
him,
Like
yeah.
I did one lesson with Damien Erskine. I was like, yeah, I saw him play. I was like, man, he can do all this stuff. I was like, I want to try to do all that stuff. So I did one lesson with him.
Yeah.
And then I kind of did some of the stuff, and I was like, I don't think I'm that kind of bass player, because I just was I learned by osmosis. But he downloaded all these like real books for me.
Wow.
It was like, it was like I got 10 lessons out of one lesson from him, because he's just generous that way. He was just so generous. So I think, it's this generosity.
And I look at people, even like Curtis Salgado, and people, that are sort of like, very giving, very, they're very willing to tell you what not to do, and I grew up, I guess also being from the East Coast, we're kind of pretty straight. If we don't like something, we'll say it.
You say so.
Well,
yeah.
And for me, I always try to
Doesn't
be
mean
constructive, but I'm sometimes, it could be to a fault. But people will ask me like, "You really want to know?" But but I just think that if you do that, and people take, I try to do it in a nice way, that everybody you'll get better quicker,
Right.
And it's one of those things that I thought was it's very cool that when I first moved to town, there was a whole bunch of us that we were just kind of starting to sort of gig in the area, and now I look at it, 11, 12 years later, and everybody now is, all these people are like touring the country.
Yeah.
You have Timur now, who's playing with Paul
Gilbert.
Gilbert, and he's in
Speaking of metal.
I think he's in Russia right now, and so it's very cool. Vyas Dodson, who was with the Insomniacs, he played with Curtis for a while, and another really talented person. So
And good old Mazzocco.
Mazza.
Man, what a player.
Finally got
Yeah.
in the Oregon Music Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Much too long after
Yeah.
he should have been. He should have been in that years and years ago. But
A
he's
lot of underrated people on there.
Yeah, like Michael Osborne too, who's someone that's kind of very
so
under the radar.
I guess that you really have to check your competitive instincts at the door in order to have a happy marriage.
Well, we don't. People always say, are you competitive?
Yeah.
And it's just,
Well, it's a natural question.
we don't get it.
well,
We don't really get it.
Well, I guess I must
don't
be
know
an
where that's
asshole
coming
then.
from.
No,
No. I
we-
think you're used to dealing with like guitar players or something. I don't know.
No, there's certain
nothing
ways-
to be competitive about.
I wouldn't say that I think we're each other's biggest fans.
Yeah.
And then we always try to push each other.
Yes. That's true.
There are things that I'm in awe of a lot of the things that she does, and I'm so proud of her. And so, there's, she's put in a lot of time and a lot of work, and it's funny because a lot of people, sort of like a lot of stuff that she's doing, let's say in the blues stuff, she's been now doing it for a while, but people still think, she's kind of new to the scene. And I'm like, she's put in the time. She's been playing along,
Yeah.
as a player and as you know, both as a
It's
singer.
only been 20 years.
Why is that? But you've been, you know, as far as, yeah. But I'm saying, you know, all the,
21 years.
you know, and how well, you know, she's respected by her peers, and that's a big thing, you know. So, you know, just
That's
the idea and the different,
important
you know, like she, you know, playing with Louis Payne and doing soul vaccination, sitting in when you did that, you know, things like, you know. So that, to me, you know, she has a great work ethic, and you know, I'm kind of she's made me a better musician too. I think, you know,
And like
being
and-
around her. So,
And same,
so.
vice versa. Yeah. He's all of those things. I know we're like, we're tinkling on each other.
No, but you know, it's.
I don't get to see him work with Sugar Ray Rayford very often, but when I do, I'm in awe. And you are so professional, and you're the only one that lives outside of L.A. and he lives in.
Well, the horn players.
The horn players, they live
in London.
Yeah,
So, but
because they're so good, he's willing to bring them from London, and you're so good, he's willing to get that extra. There's one more plane flight that has to be made for you,
well,
but you cover all the bases. That's why. So yeah, we have a mutual admiration society.
And with that,
Okay.
you got one more tune
do
for
another
us.
song.
Yeah.
All right. What did we decide we was gonna do?
he said
Blues all right. That's right. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I got a song I wanna sing, and I'm gonna sing it just for you. If you ever had the blues, I want you to help me sing it too. Everybody hear what I say. The blues is back and it's here to stay. Oh, I used to have someone who meant the whole wide world to me. Oh, but he left me. He left me in misery. And that's how I knew that the blues would always be a part of me. Oh, and when it left me, it gave me the blues. That was the last thing that I thought I could use. Oh, but I'm glad that it left me. I'm glad that it gave me the blues. Oh, 'cause if he hadn't left me, I wouldn't have found somebody sweet and new. Oh, said, hey, hey, the blues is all right. Hey, hey, the blues is all right. I said, hey, 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 yeah. Hey, I said, the blues is all right, y'all. It's all right. It's all right every day and every night. Yeah, 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 yeah. Ooh, oh, I'm telling you, I'm glad that mean man left me. I'm glad that he gave me the blues, because the blues is what led me to you. Yeah, if it weren't for the blues, I wouldn't have somebody sweet like you. Yeah, that's why I said, hey, hey, the blues is all right. Hey, 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 y'all, the blues is all right. I said, hey, 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 the blues is all right. Hey, 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 the blues is all right. It's all right. Whoa, it's all right every day and every night, every night. Hey, oh, I said, hey, hey, the blues is all right. Hey, hey, y'all, I said the blues is all right. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Oh, it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Oh, let me tell you now, I said the blues is all right. every day and every night.
Hey!
And this song was brought to you by Mann.
Thank you guys so much for being
you.
here. It's
You're
really,
welcome.
really been great to have you.
Fun.
And thank you for performing and telling us all about all that other stuff.
All right, I really appreciate this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Next time, next time we do a video episode of this podcast, we'll have Shelley Rudolph and Chance Hayden. Chance Hayden and Shelley Rudolph. Thank you guys.
Good people.
Good people. Yeah.